Okay, welcome to the Quality Quantifier. This was one of the webinars that I was going to have posted up, but I've decided to break these down into some short, quick 20-minute videos so that you have time to really just get the essential principles and that you can actually apply it. There's a lot of content with the Happy Holidays Hot Bodies program, so one of the challenges was making sure that I could get it to you in a way that you can actually utilize it and it's not just information overload. So what is this quality quantifier and what it's all about? With Anthony Robbins, he had the video where he actually showed a guy that was trying to get over a desire for pizza, and this was one of the tools that he used for that. I'll put the video up as well for that so you have kind of a reference for it. But basically the goal for this is to utilize it as an urge management tool. So we have all these other tools that we're using to get ourselves more online and on track with what we're going to focus on to eat as well as for our fitness. But we also need some tools sometimes when we're just dealing with those urges. So our goal is to increase your desire for activities that do support you and decrease your desire for activities that don't support you. So let's start here with, first of all, what do we need to do? What's the first step? Well, the first step we want to do is to quantify. And it just gives us a little bit more distinction, a little bit more precision with the details of what it is we're experiencing. So, for example, when you're engaging in an activity, whether it's food, a meeting, a conversation, a task, you can literally ask yourself, what's the current level of quality of feelings or sensations I associate to it? And you can actually quantify it from -10 all the way to +10. What am I currently experiencing? The reason why you can do this is because no matter what we're experiencing, the way we're perceiving it in our mind, whether it's the emotions or the senses that we're perceiving it with, we can always find and notice something maybe a little bit more enjoyable about it. And at the same time, if we could also focus on something that was not as great about it or something more negative, and hence the terms -10. I mean, that's pretty much what happens in someone's mind when they're being overly negative, is they've just looked at something and they've looked at every representation of their mind of what that event is to make it negative. Likewise, people who look at things in a positive light are focusing on all the things that are great about a situation, whereas the reality may be that it's not necessarily the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, but it's just reality. But because our minds and our brains operate as deletion creatures, we actually focus on the things that we put through our filters to notice. So if you're able to really think about a situation, or like, for example, think about something you're eating and you're quantifying it, it gives you just a little bit of an edge in how to deal with that particular experience. The second thing that you want to do is you want to be able to describe the sensations or feelings that you want. What do you want to experience and what do you want to feel when you think of this thing? And again, our goal is going to be you can do it a couple of ways. One, you can do it for foods that are really healthy and nutritious for you. You can actually amplify the sensations and feelings you want. And what do you want to experience when eating those things? And what do you want to feel when you think about eating those healthy foods? And at the same time, what you can do is you can turn down the sensations and feelings for foods that are not as good for you, that you know are going to increase your calorie intake and really cause you to have problems of weight gain later on. So, for example, if you want to feel better about, let's say, eating a fresh salad, you want to feel that, you know, when you eat a fresh salad, you feel the sensations of energy and vitality and happiness and freedom and strength and power and all those empowering sensations and emotions. And you want to experience a lot of energy. You want to experience being able to digest your food properly and feel comfortable and go exercise and have all of this all of this food going into your body is fuel toward making you a more dynamic athlete or dancer or whatever it is. And when you think about this, you want to feel good about it. You don't want to feel like you're taking away something from yourself. You want to feel that you're only gaining something that's great, which is more energy and a better health. So then after you're able to kind of describe the sensations that you want, then it's time to really decide. And what you want to do is you want to ask yourself the question, what is the level of experience, the quality of sensations you're committed to having? Do you want to associate a -10 to eating chocolate if that's something that's really a difficult addiction or something that you just can't seem to overcome when it comes to indulgence, or just a -5 if it's something you know you just need to cut back a little bit on? Do I want to associate my level of pleasure at a +7, +8, or +10 for this exercise I'm about to engage in? Or likewise for a healthy food like a salad that you want to eat, or some kind of fruit, or some kind of nutritious meal. And my suggestion is that you quantify and describe sensations that can be, that can bring you to +10 for the exercise, so you can really do your best to try to create some extra things that will make that more enjoyable. And then for the food that's really troubling for you, I would really attempt to associate as negative as you can the association to eating that particular food. And then how does this all work though? So, okay, once you're able to do that, then you want to strategize. You want to ask yourself, what has to happen for me to feel that way about it? What conditions must I create inside myself and or the environment to experience that level of quality? And if you can see here, we have a strip down here, and this is referring to a video of Bill, how he evaluated his pizza addiction. So the scale below shows the triggers Bill used to change his level of desire for this behavior. The scale is normally -10 to +10, but Bill was so addicted to the strong feeling about pizza that they extended it to 15. But if you can look here on -9, basically that would be the worst possible representation he could think of with pizza, which is that it smells rancid, it's rotting, and it's cold, and cheese is, and then -3 was maybe not so bad. It's just been sitting out a couple of hours. It's fat hardening, sugar glazed on top. And then number 8 is his sensation of what he would consider to be like really, really desiring pizza, which is slightly above room temperature. And then he has like 14, meaning he could not even resist the pizza, would be if it was hot with extra cheese, mushrooms, and sun-dried tomatoes. So if you really think about this, what's happening is that we don't just sit down in front of a pizza or in front of some exercise, and the exercise all of a sudden causes us to have these emotions. We actually build up these emotions through our imaginations over time. And unfortunately, advertisers use this against us by, like, for example, if you see number 14, they'll flash a commercial in front of our face with this hot pizza with cheese dripping and mush. And it's so funny because they even sometimes amplify the sound and the smoke coming from the screen, and they enlarge the items on there. They're not going to just show you a tiny pizza in the back of a corner room that's smelling rancid with rotting cheese to try to sell it to you. But you can use this to your advantage, because if that's the way that you perceive an item that you really like, you can also take control of your own mind and picture maybe roaches crawling over the pizza. That's not an appealing thing. So what happens is most people, before they eat something that's going to be detrimental to their health and wellness, they're only thinking about the immediate pleasure of how good it's going to taste and how great it smells and all that. But if you can, in advance, first of all, turn down your desire by quantifying it for something that's not going to be as exciting to consume, then what you can do is you can turn up the pain of eating this now and turn down the pleasure in the immediate. And then you can also picture in your mind how great you're going to feel by not allowing this to block you from your ideal body. So you're basically turning up the long-term pleasure and turning up the short-term pain. And with those combinations, you will not indulge in the particular item. Now, so what your task is to do is I want you to take, let's say, three different foods. One that is really, really good for you. One that is just kind of moderate or average. And one that is, really, really an addiction or bad for you. And what I want you to do is, for the one that's really, really good for you, I want you to amplify it even more. Something that's really, really healthy. I want you to write descriptions from 0 to maybe 5 to maybe 10. Just maybe 3. What would make that food that's really good for you just neutral? Like, for example, if it was just a salad and maybe it had some tomatoes. And then maybe 5 would maybe be you have some special spices or seasonings or some kind of olive oil or something to make it a little bit more tasty. And then 10 would be maybe you put some special type of tomatoes in there to make it very juicy, and you just make it to where your mouth is just watering for the salad. And then for the thing that's neutral, decide if this is something that's good for you or bad for you, and see if you can just amplify it a little bit. And then for something that's not good for you, I want you to take it all the way down to a -10. Just write 2 or 3 descriptions of that item that are going to just make it absolutely horrible and disgusting to even think about eating. And that could be anywhere from it rotting to it being rancid to bugs crawling over it to it being old and expired to it being cold to it being just looking ugly and unappealing. And just really, you want to take the items that have been a problem for you in your life in terms of addiction or that have been overindulgences, and you really just want to turn them down. But these healthy foods you want to turn up. So I encourage you to ask questions about this. I wanted to keep this one short and sweet, and we can discuss it more in the forum on Facebook and kind of go back and forth with everyone. And maybe you can put some samples of some foods that you are able to really turn up that are really healthy, and then some foods you're able to quantify down that are really unhealthy. Also, before I go, I want to remind you to ask these particular quality questions. 1, what would I have to believe? 2, what would I have to start noticing or focusing on? 3, what am I grateful for? 4, what's fun about this? And 5, how can I learn even more while enjoying the process? These are going to be questions that you can ask yourself to help you come up with interesting ideas to shift your desire for one thing or another. Also, 2 very important principles to remember. Remember that there are many ways to create a +10 experience. And number 2 is define the rules so you have control. That's the key, not so that the restaurant or environment or someone else entices you. You've already kind of set up a representation of your mind of the things that you want to desire and the things that you don't want to desire as much. All right, so hopefully these are all helpful, and you can ask questions in the forum and the community there, and then we can all help each other find some interesting ways to work on this. Talk to you soon.